Before I begin my topic of United Religions today, I would like to share with you a real life personal story. It was the year 1992. I was an 8-year-old child in grade 3 in school, and one afternoon I got a news. The announcement was made in the school that a bomb blast has happened in the Bombay Stock Exchange. It was the first time RDX was ever used on the Indian soil. And I was extremely tensed because my father was working in the Bombay Stock Exchange at that point of time. I took a special permission, left school, reached home. My mom was crying. My entire family was in tears. We did not know what would happen next. There were no mobile phones at that point of time, no social media. After 15-20 minutes of anxious waiting, I get a call from my dad's friend, and he informs that my dad and he both are safe, fine, not to worry, and now they are heading to Zaveri Bazaar, the jewelers market. 40 minutes later, the second bomb blast happens at Zaveri Bazaar. Dad's friend dies, and my dad escapes by a small margin. He comes home in the night, full of blood, glass pieces all over his body, emotionally shattered, mentally shattered, and I can never forget that moment in my life. Even today, sometimes I get a nightmare when I see my dad in that frame. And I was a mere 8-year-old boy, but it stuck me deep in my mind that something is wrong, and we cannot have a world or a future where these things continue to happen. I was very happy with what Mr. Raul Roderick spoke. Very, very important. We are at a very, very critical juncture in humanity. And that left a deep impression in my mind, and I started researching further and further. And over the years, I've realized that we are heading for a new kind of a war, that we are not prepared. Let me show you some interesting statistics on the screen. If you see deaths due to religion, you see the graph from 1940 to 1980, 85, 90. And suddenly you find a huge jump in deaths that have occurred due to religion. We have seen geographical wars, we have seen wars between countries, but now we are talking that deaths that have happened due to religion, we've suddenly seen a huge jump in the last 15, 20 years. Okay, so from 1900 to 1950, if you see the statistics, country wars, the number of people died is so huge, and the number of people who died because of religious fights was there, but much less. Okay, and now we find a big change, a big reversal in the trend. The number of people who died because of religion has suddenly increased, and the number of wars between countries has gone down. The Second World War happened in 1945, 70 years. No world war has happened. There have been regional conflicts, small, but no major war has happened. But every day we see some or the other fight that take place between religion. And that is where we have to change our approach, and we have to change our strategy. Because this fight is something that we have never seen before. The United States every year spends $600 billion in defense. They have nuclear bombs, they have submarines, grenades, anti-aircraft guns, missiles, everything. But how in the world do you control one man who suddenly one day decides to take a gun and walk into a school and start shooting people randomly? Do you kill him with a nuclear bomb? No, you cannot. Do you throw grenades at him? No, you cannot. You cannot kill him with an anti-aircraft missile, right? So we are seeing this new kind of aggression, this new kind of suppression, frustration that's coming up. In Paris, somewhere near New Year's Eve, someone takes a truck and he just rams it into a public place. What happens there? We see that hundreds of people die, and there is no way we can control this phenomenon, because tomorrow anybody in any part of the world, he has a certain suppression. He just takes another truck and he can attack you at any point of time. So over the years, in 1940 and 1950, we saw that countries are fighting, and to counter it, we created a beautiful institution, what we call the United Nations, because the countries were fighting with each other. There was Axis group, Allied group, Germany, Japan, France, Russia, everybody was fighting. So to control the countries from fighting, we created United Nations, and it has been a pretty successful organization. There has been no world war after that. Countries have been reluctant, there has been control, there has been restraint. But till date, we have not created a single organization in the world which unites our religions. We have made no conscious effort to do that. I mean, you can find a Barack Obama and a Xi Jinping shaking hands. Vladimir Putin and Barack Obama, you can see them in a conference. But have you ever seen the Pope and the Ayatollah sitting together? You cannot imagine. Or the Dalai Lama and the Sankaracharya meeting together and discussing and trying to sort out the differences that exist in the group. So whilst United Nations has been pretty successful, it's a great organization, what the world now needs is a conscious attempt. Even though it sounds so difficult, we have to unite and at least try as much as we possible to unite our religions. Because all the violence that is coming up is because of religions. So what we are doing now is we are doing something very interesting. You know, I have my name in the Guinness Book of World Record for training the maximum students, and also the LIMCA Book of Records for training in the maximum schools across the world. We are personally working with 378 schools in 12 countries. So what we have done is we have designed a curriculum for peace. And what we have done in this curriculum is taken some very, very good ideas from every religion that is possibly existing on the earth, some nice peaceful messages, compiled them, and we are targeting the age group of students from 14 to 16 years. Because that, I believe, is a fresh state of mind where people develop ideas and tendencies. The idea is very simple. We took some very nice quotations from the Bible. You know, the Bible says, love thy neighbor, thou shalt not kill, and such. We have taken nice historical anecdotes from the Bible. We took the Quran and we took specific verses from the Quran and put them in that curriculum with explaining the meaning and the context. You know, the Quran says, there is no compulsion in religion. Killing one human being is similar to killing the whole of humanity. Do not criticize their God, for in fear in return they might criticize your God. So we have taken those specific quotations. The Bhagavad Gita tells us, you know, ye no bhadra kratvo yantu vishvatha. Let good things come from all directions. Lokaha samasta sukhino bhavantu. You know, let good and wellness and prosperity spread to all the people in the world. So we have now created this entire book. It's in the process, and by November or December of 2017, the curriculum will be ready. It has all the peaceful examples and examples of unity that we have taken from history. And in all the 300 schools that we are working with, we are going to ensure that every child from a very impressionable age group of 14 to 16 years tries to develop a mindset and a worldview that all religions ultimately try to teach peace. There could be some context here and there, but majorly all religions try to teach peace, happiness, and love. And our attempt and my vision through this stage is that this document and this book will be put on PDF format, on website, on internet, freely downloadable. We don't want any copyright or any royalty whatsoever. And as many countries as possible, we would want the governments of those countries and the educational departments to make it a part of the curriculum. Because all the time what we have done in the past is we have regulated mathematics. We want everybody to learn mathematics the proper way. We want everybody to learn physics the proper way. We want everybody to learn geography the proper way. But as far as religion is concerned, we just leave blank. We let them learn from their parents, from YouTube videos, from WhatsApp messages, from the priests, and from people who are already brainwashed. And what ultimately happens is the same set of brainwashing ideology gets perpetuated through generations. Somewhere we have to put a stop. My friend in Kenya, Ayub Muhammad, he has designed a curriculum to fight the Al-Shabaab. Beautiful curriculum, and they're using it in the schools in Kenya. And slowly the mindset has changed. So we are going to create this curriculum. The process is on. We will take all the references from all the religions, positive, uplifting, inspiring. And our task is that every child from the age of 14 to 16 who's of an impressionable age learns it, which is followed by a test to ensure that he learns properly. And there is no guarantee, but there is a probability that many people who are on the extremist ideology, sometimes the other day I was reading a very interesting article in Reader's Digest magazine. There were a few youngsters from France and Germany. They got brainwashed by an organization in West Asia. Nice boys, and people couldn't believe that these were the boys who left their families, who left their brothers, sisters, fathers, mothers, left their careers, and they, leaving everything behind, they joined these terrorist organizations. The mother is wondering what happened. They were not victims. Some ideology must have been spread. So we are living in a time where there is YouTube, there is WhatsApp, there is Facebook, and so many sources of information that are trying to create an impression on our youngsters. And to counter it, we have created this wonderful curriculum called the Curriculum for Peace. And I urge all of you over here and through the video and through the TED platform to help us spread it to as many possible countries and as many possible curriculums as we can, so we can impress the youngsters and try to create a positive change that can bring peace in the world. I still remember whenever I see my dad's photo, and I have to try to reinforce them. We are taking a lot of workshops to students, and we are trying to reach out to as many students as we can in different schools. We have designed a PPT, and in this 1-hour program, we teach them how you can remove all the negative faiths and implications that you have about religion. The other day I was traveling in a flight, and someone told me, "You are a Hindu?" I said, "Yes, I was born of Hindu parents, yes." He said, "Oh, why do you drown your God in the water? Why do you do that?" And then I had to explain to him that, how anything has a form becomes formless. Similarly, we worship the entire cycle. From the formless, we create a God of form. And from form, again, he goes back in the formless. So that's how energy moves. That's how quantum physics says, formless, form, formless. There is no birth and death. You cannot create energy, you cannot destroy energy. The cycle goes on. And he was very impressed. He said, "Nobody has explained to me in this context. All of what I had was a negative notion." The other day I met a college youngster, and he says, "Do you know, the Holy Quran is a very aggressive book. In chapter number 9, verse number 5, it says, 'Slay the pagans wherever you find them.'" I said, "Wait, read the next sentence." Chapter number 9, verse number 6 says, "If they ask for protection, give them protection and take them to a secure place." And the boy admitted for 10 years he had a negative notion. Had he read this very next line, that negative notion could have been changed into a much positive notion. So I realized that all over, because of random information on social media and other places, we have a culture of people who are always on the verge of aggression. And now is the time humanity needs maximum to change the mindset and to change the ideology. Karl Marx said religion is the opium of the masses. You cannot create religion. It's already been created thousands of years ago. We are no prophets. We cannot destroy them. Even if you destroy one religious building, it will cause mayhem. You cannot make people change religion. If you convert from one group to other, again there is going to be a lot of repercussions. There is going to be a lot of fight, a lot of rebellion. But we can at least hope in the world and in the context, we create peace and we make sure people, apart from their religion, accept this one mission and one motive of humanity as a new religion, as a new psychology, as a new ideology, where we all live in peace and we all live in love. Thank you very much. Thank you.